In this episode, Tony and I talk about the controversial Michigan youth deer hunt. Is stuff going to change? What's going on for fall 2025? All of this and more in this episode of Beyond the Backyard. The Michigan Outdoor Obsessions Beyond the Backyard is brought to you by Ultimate Archery and Outdoors, Ultimate Deer Products, Red Light Food Plot Seed Company, Edge Attracts Incorporated, Jay's Sporting Goods, and Tacticam. And this is our fourth episode of Beyond the Backyard. It's brought to you by Ultimate Archery and Outdoors in West Branch, Ultimate Deer Products, Red Light Food Plot Seed Company, Edge Attracts Incorporated, Tacticam, and Jay's Sporting Goods. What's going on, Tony?
Not much, Steve. How's it going, man?
Not too bad. Just we're getting closer to the weekend. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like the closer we get to the warmer weather, the more the week seems to drag on.
Yeah, it has that effect. So.
Now, you went out turkey hunting tonight?
Yeah, me and my son did. So we seen a few birds.
Yeah.
Seems to be that they're starting to get more henned up right now. So
that's tough, man.
Yeah, that makes it a lot difficult. So, but
I almost feel like when they get henned up, it's a game of cutting them off at that point.
That's what we're trying to do tonight, but obviously they took a different path than what I was anticipating. So, but we'll try again. I got a couple more days left. So I got the ZZ permit right now. So
are they?
So I got to go for a while.
How are they reacting to your call?
Oh, morning time. You can sucker them right in, but I haven't been able to make it out in the morning. So tonight we were just trying to cut them off to the roost. So, but hopefully everybody else is having better luck than I am. So
I haven't seen a ton of birds, man. Last year at this time, which obviously we had a devastation up here,
right?
But, last year it was like on my trail cameras, it was nonstop toms, and I guess I went back to my tractor one time and had a tom 30 yards from me. This year I've seen some birds, but not behind the house so much. I mean, here and there behind the house, but nothing consistent.
Right. I don't know. They seem to be the same for us down here in the Midwest or in West Michigan. So
we also had, a pretty heavy winter. I mean, our winter was probably probably the hardest winter we've had in 10 years. I mean, it was.
Did you guys have like a record sow amount up your way?
Like 100. Yeah. I mean, our house, which is west of Gaylord, the Gaylord had 200 inches. I'd say we had 150 maybe.
Okay.
And we consistently for the last month and a half had 2 feet on the ground or more.
Right.
So it's just tough on those kind of turkeys, man. They don't survive much when it comes to that. That's
right.
You get that deep snow. It makes it real easy for the predators to prey on them.
Yep. Everything. So
I mean, I don't know. I don't turkey hunt like I used to. I just don't have the time. And if I have to pick what I can do and only get so many times, a lot of times I pick deer hunting just because, I mean, I don't know. Some people enjoy fishing more. Some people enjoy turkey hunting more. Deer hunting is more my passion at this point in my life.
Yep. Same here. That's our family thing. So everybody gets to go to deer camp and everything. Deer hunting's a big thing for us.
Plus the turkey hunting, man, it's like, I'd honestly rather call one in for you and have you shoot it than mess with it.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So right now, the only turkey setup I have is a 12 gauge. So that'd be a lot for a young kid there to handle something like that. So,
and it's tough. It's a lot nicer. I know hunting from back in the days. It's nice when you get with another adult out there that can call for you.
Yeah.
Because they can get behind you 40 yards. Yeah. Because I feel like the birds always hang up on you.
Yeah, no, they do, and that actually happened to us a couple days ago too. I had my brother and me. Unfortunately we sat right next to each other, and same thing. They just hung up. It was 50 some yards away, guessing, and he would not come in any closer. So, but that's how the game goes, I guess.
So. Hey, you wanted to hang out with your brother. That was was the more important thing to you.
It was a nice morning.
Well, that's good. You made some memories.
Yep.
All right, so let's dive right into her. The topic of controversy for some, I guess for many. There's about 1,000 opinions on it, and that is the Michigan youth hunt as a whole. And obviously, we know there was changes made to the season for this upcoming year. We dabbed in it a little bit the last episode,
right?
But the big thing is, and really, it's not just the youth. From what I read, it's the independence hunt, I think, Liberty hunt, which isn't just the kids, it's the disabled veterans and the
Yep.
kids. Um, as a whole, they're taking away that for the ability for them to shoot antler deer. And there is, as I read right now, it has been brought up to the House as a proposal to try to get it switched before the season. Who knows if that'll actually happen?
Okay.
And because I know they're not only the kids try to get because they know that you're going to get less kids out there to hunt. I
Yep.
mean, I'm sorry, but last year was what 75 degrees out during the youth hunt up
Yep.
here. So I don't know what it was, probably 80s down there.
80s down here. Yep.
Sweating, sitting
So,
in the ladder stand.
yep.
And are you gonna shoot a doe when it's 75, 80 degrees? I mean,
Yep.
I don't think these kids want to be gutting out a doe when it's that warm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's the tough part about the early season hunting. So,
But what
but
is? I mean, before we get into the statistics of things, what is your overall just quick review of what you think about just the hunt
uh,
as a whole?
so like you and I, we've started hunting before we even had youth hunting. I mean,
Yeah.
we had to go out there with everybody else and all that. And then when youth hunting started, yes, I'll admit I was totally against it. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. I mean, you know what? Grew up in life where you had to, do what everybody else is doing, and I shot my own deer during regular archery season, my first one.
Yeah.
Uh, Same thing. I had to shoot my own, or I shot one with a gun, like the year after, something like that. But anyway, so after that, well, years go by and you start taking other kids out. We used to do the youth duck hunting, um, and that was fun. That was kind of the first eye-opening thing to let the kids shoot ducks and stuff first before everybody else. That was kind of my opening of, hey, maybe there's something more to this. And then, now I'm a dad, so and as are you. So
Mhm.
it's, you know, you get to take the kids out with you. It's a totally different experience. I don't know how to put it. So that's kind of my experience is, I think it's got a good motion or agenda, I guess was what they're trying to reach, but I don't know. It's the early season is very, very tough, and to start getting the deer, I wouldn't say riled up is kind of used as a big term, but to get them more spooked before bow hunting, where it's more silent and everything, I don't know. I mean, Steve, you've got a lot more data behind this, so I don't know. Kind of fill us in on what you're getting out of all
Okay, so
their
even in their
knowledge and
studies,
everything.
they were talking about the participation of just youth hunters.
Okay.
So from 2008 to 2023, about 40% of youth eligible for youth hunting season participated. Uh, but they later extended it to 16 years old or younger from 2012 to
Okay.
2023. Participation remains relatively stable at about 40% from 2008 to 2012. However, a noticeable decline to 20% in current 2013 is what they originally obviously started up the youth hunt,
Okay.
coinciding with the removal of the minimum age requirement. But then it says participation gradually increased, returning to approximately 40% by 2018 and remaining consistent in 2023. So, I mean, you definitely have brought, by doing these youth hunts, you have increased the numbers of hunters. And the goal of it is to, I mean, you have to keep the
Uh,
interest there. You
the
have to
the
keep,
main th yeah, the main thing is hunter retention is what they're trying to
because here's the thing, the state has,
and
a budget, and they have stuff they have to pay for, right? And I was looking at it in that fact that, so if you have less people hunting,
Mhm.
let's say you're not getting these kids hooked into hunting, um, now you have to increase the prices because now you have to make up for each individual person that's not buying a license now.
Right.
Not only now, but 10 years now, 15 years from now, these are kids that aren't turning into you and me, your adult hunters
Yep.
that you didn't grab at a young age and get their attention and get their love for it.
Right.
And now you're short that much money coming in to your budget. Um,
Right.
so on that end of it, you have to grab. And yes, me and you didn't grow up with a youth season, and
Correct.
right with you, I was against it too. I'll say the same thing
Mhm.
that you said is that I'm like, oh man, it's getting the deer all revved up. But now that I'm a dad and I see the joy in being with my daughters as they shot their first bucks,
Yep.
I would I would let them shoot a buck every year and feel happy if I never shot another buck ever again. Like that,
Right.
I get more revved up off them shooting deer than I ever get off my biggest buck that I ever shot.
Right. Right. So
Um,
it's a totally. It, it's hard to explain because like my first year, I was super pumped about. So now my son can hunt next.
yeah,
This year, actually, this year he can do the youth hunt. So it's like if he gets one, I mean, that joy of seeing him shoot it would be, oh, that'd be better than anything I could ask for. So,
yeah.
but
But the
um,
numbers don't lie either because you get these people talk about well they're shooting all the big bucks. Like
yeah,
someone
oh
commented
yeah,
on a post on the Facebook page there, and they made a comment that I don't know if I told you about this, but they're basically saying we talked about. Um, so it comes out to let me get I'll give you statistics and then I'll dig more into that
no,
comment.
you're good. Go.
Okay, so this report that was put out by the Michigan DNR was done from 2020, 21, 22, 23. Was put out in 2024. Um, and it has everything categorized, the number of deer killed during each individual season in Michigan. So,
Okay.
so for example, in the 2021, 2023, 2022, and 2023 Liberty slash youth hunt, it was about the same really each year, about 55, 5,000, 2023 for the number of bucks killed. So right around anywhere from 5.5 to about 6,000 bucks killed each year during those hunts.
Okay.
Um, Now you tap in to everything else for your archery antlered bucks, your regular firearm antlered bucks, and your muzzleloader antlered bucks. Now you total all those all up from 2000 to 2023. There was a
Okay.
total of 616,543 bucks taken between muzzleloader, archery, and rifle.
For regular,
616.
for this is all for regular. That's not just you.
No, so this is
Okay.
just
Okay.
this is muzzleloader, rifle,
Okay.
and archery. There were
Yep.
616,000 bucks shot between those 3 years.
Okay.
Those same 3 years, there was only 16,000 bucks shot during the Liberty and Youth Hunt.
You suck. Okay.
16,000. So roughly
So
2.6%,
2%. Yeah.
exactly 2%. And if someone told me, this is where I get to the comment that was put on Facebook.
Okay.
So they said that, and I'm not. Here's the thing. I will state this. We've stated before in every episode. I'm not saying I'm an expert. Tony's not an
No.
expert. I'm
No.
just giving my personal opinion, and that's the great thing about America is we can give our opinions. You can give your opinions. No one's no one's here
Sure.
to say who's right and wrong. Let's just share our opinions. So I want to state that before I say anything else because you get people get all mad. But I'm
Just
not a
go.
pro staffer. He's not a pro staffer. We're just two people sharing our thoughts. But um, anyways, to the point on Facebook, so the guy basically said about two because originally we said 2% in last episode, so it's 2.6
Hmm.
percent, and he said something about there's only 4% of the bucks are being there's only 4.5. He says like roughly 4% of the bucks that are taken in Michigan or in Michigan are 4.5 years and older, and basically made a statement basically saying that we're they're all the youth are taking like 4.5-year-old bucks is what he's basically saying.
Well,
And that
that's
so they're taking 2.6. Well, they're taking 2.6% of that 4% of big bucks.
that's
And
pretty impressive. So, because I've seen a lot of big bucks carry over into archery season. So,
from,
well,
from
anyway,
from
keep going.
someone
Sorry.
that has
Go ahead.
seen thousands of pictures sent to me since
Yes.
2019, thousands of kids' pictures sent to me. I would say maybe on two hands I could count maybe
Y-
20
y-
bucks that were 4.5 years old.
Yeah. No, I
I'd
believe
say
it.
most of them are either year and a half, 2.5, and then you have your good 3.5s.
Yeah.
But to sit there and say that
It's-
all these kids are shooting is a bunch of 4.5-year-old bucks.
that's a lie. It's a whole lie. So, but I it's comical. So, I know. I would say the majority of bucks that probably get shot are 2.5-year-old bucks. The decent looking ones. There might be some 3-year-olds, but to
Yeah.
say all of them are 4-year-olds, that's a far stretch for me. So I see a lot of spikes. I see a lot of 4 points, some goofy, messed up, you know, sevens and sixes. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a kind of a far
And
stretch there.
and I'm not saying it doesn't need revision. I'm not saying the
Oh
youth
no,
hunt
yeah,
doesn't need to be revision because as much as I think the youth hunt is great, there are definitely some areas that needs to be changed.
yeah,
We talked about at the end of last episode. You don't need someone hunting in a youth hunt from the time they're 8 to the time they're
yeah.
16.
I think the age stretch or the age thing is too large. So because you could have kids just go out there, that have shot multiple deer, multiple bucks, which is fine.
Yeah,
But to say they're part of the youth hunt,
yeah,
I think they could probably jump into the rest of us that have shot deer.
yeah. Because I mean, the
They've
youth hunt, the main purpose is to get your feet wet,
if you, yeah,
get
it's
your excitement, get those bucks. And if you, like I said, you want to shoot, you want to do, I'd say what 3 years of a youth hunt. Um,
3 or 4 years. I'll
yeah,
give
three or
them
four
that. It's just,
years.
yep.
Get your addiction, get your feet wet, and then join
Well,
the rest of the crew.
that and understand what you're doing too out in the woods.
Yeah,
That's why they have that mentor license or whatever. But, there was a lot of things I had to learn on my own, but there was a lot of things I learned, hunting with my dad and grandpa and buddies that would hunt and stuff. So give them that at least that 4 years to get, hey, this is kind of, you have to do this and this and this, to properly, you know, this is how you tag a deer correctly. This is how you do this correctly. So at
all the
least
way down to the important stuff like the etiquette. You know what I mean?
etiquette. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't go out there at 10 o'clock in the morning, slamming around, driving your quad. Yes,
yeah.
yes. I agree with that. So um I just yes, to revise, I think there's a lot of revisions. Exactly. I don't think they need to, so remind me this, and I'm not 100% sure. Are they allowed to have the combo tag where they can shoot two deer in youth season?
No,
I
you
that
season, you season, you can't.
You
You
only chew one, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one. If you have
Okay,
a what is it? There's the one there's the one license that is uh the $7 license I think it is, and they can only shoot
okay,
one. But then I feel
alright.
like you can buy over
Well, we
10.
could
I think they can buy a regular combo.
yeah, well, the nuisance tag or something like that,
Yeah,
I don't know if, like, youth can use that tag or whatever. Because I didn't know like, I buy the combination tag, so I'm all set for gun and bow type deal, but, yeah, I didn't know if they're allowed to have the combo tag as well, unless
Ainsley had
it's
a
a
combo
one.
tag last year because she was aged out of the youth hunt.
Oh, okay, alright.
Yeah, so she
So
last year she had to get a combo, the $40 whatever you got to spend for the
okay.
soon to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, the yeah,
soon to be 60.
soon to be a mortgage payment just to shoot a deer. So, yeah,
We
but
start selling vehicles in order to pay for a deer hunt,
yeah, yep,
but no, it just
but
as a whole. Yeah, it just has to be, and then you got like I said, they then in that research that I was reading about them proposing the houses and changing it over, um,
mhm,
how they took it away from not only the kids, they took it away from the disabled, they took it away from the disabled vets, and they're trying to say their reason is because they're trying to get people to shoot more does.
right,
That is their. They say it's not a like we talked about before, an
yep,
opinionated thing because like I said, a lot of people don't like it. You get the people that are claiming that their dads are shooting the deer, and we
yeah,
and they
but
it does happen,
it does, yep,
but to sit there and just cut stuff off with one big thing and say it's done. I
yeah,
hope it goes through this proposal that's currently going through to hopefully switch it back by the fall. Hopefully,
yep,
people do the right thing. Um,
hope,
Even on the vet side of it, man, it bothers me that my fellow Iraq veterans or
yeah,
Afghanistan veterans, you went to war, you got wounded, but God
mhm,
forbid you can't shoot a buck before this guy shoots a buck.
that yeah, I don't I yes, I disagree with all that, so,
Yeah.
I mean, they should be more than they shouldn't have to, and honestly, I wouldn't think they need to pay for their hunting license too if they,
Oh,
served and did
if
everything,
you're
but
100% disabled, they
that's
don't
me.
pay. If
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, if
but
you're
I'm
doing
just
that
saying
hunt,
me I would just say even a resident veteran should have like a extremely discounted license, or you know, at least get one tag for free and the other one they'll have to pay for. So,
Yeah,
but
you would
uh,
think.
something,
But
just kind
but
of
but
being.
but just the numbers here are so astronomical that people legitimately think it's like destroying the deer
Oh
population,
yeah,
but the Liberty hunt. When we literally have the numbers here, and it's so unbalanced.
right.
It-
It, yeah, and some of the numbers, and they'll say they're skewed too. You know, it, to skew that big a margin to say, there was, this many deer shot or whatever, because people aren't recording, or doing the tag thing on the phone.
yeah,
For the reporting, basically, I don't think it's gonna make a difference on, that spells it out big time. So it's if they're shooting 2% of the buck population in just the youth hunt, you're not making that big of effect on there. So,
I mean, there's
it
just multiple things that contribute to it. I mean, it's
yeah,
to sit there and say that you 600,000 bucks were shot, and those darn kids and vets that took those 16,000 in those three
yeah,
years, man, they took out all the big ones. There was
yeah,
nothing left.
yeah, that's a bogus claim, so that's for sure.
Do you?
Uh,
I mean, I just feel like um, I mean, like the retention of the youth hunt. I don't feel like it's. I mean, I have two girls that both shot bucks,
mhm.
and the one I'm sure she'd go out again, but she's been out twice and just busy with school and stuff. Never really gone out
Right,
again. And the
right,
other one, she might be hooked, but who knows? She might she might shoot a couple and never shoot again too. So I mean, it's tough to know how much it's going to bring in. Um,
right.
I gave the younger one last year. She didn't shoot a single one, but she did sit out there. I think if towards the end there, she sat like a total of like 30 hours, no phone, just sat there,
Yeah,
multiple sits,
that's
just
pretty
would
good.
not come together. The deer would always go to my spot, which was 60 yards away. And
Yep.
I would try to sneak over more, and I'd be at the bottom of my base, sitting at the base of the stand. She's up in the stand. I'm trying to grunt to this deer, trying to get it
Yeah, no.
over to us. But no, I mean, so like, some kids will get hooked by it. But I guess it's with everything. I mean, that goes back to even like before the youth hunt. I'm sure it was the same situation where you had people that did it and then got
Mhm.
out of it.
Yeah, it just maybe wasn't their thing. So,
Yeah,
they did it, they tried it, and that wasn't their thing. So to say it's a huge retention thing,
no,
no, I don't agree with that.
no,
So, that's with anything. Some guys like we played sports in high school, like I played football, but
yeah,
I don't play football anymore, so
no,
or baseball, um so I got a question for you though. Would
yeah.
you change the timing of the youth hunt if you could? Instead of being early season, say maybe, you know, just before gun season or
That's a tough thing, man. Like, is there
I
real?
mean, you
Is there really a good time? I mean,
well,
I
you
mean
tell
that.
me.
I mean that the best
That's what
way.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
So
I mean, like, if you're trying, if the argument is of disturbing the seasons,
right.
I mean, if you're gonna have it, you might as well have it before the rut. I mean,
Yep.
the rut is the golden hour, man. Like,
Right.
I could care less about the beginning of the season. I mean,
Yeah.
to
Well, I
be
mean,
honest with
that's
you.
most of the effort goes into there for me too. So is
Yeah.
that first week in November or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So no.
I mean, I
So
guess
I'm
unless you got one coming in on a dime, to me, it's all like these days. The last 10 years, I don't even bother starting to really think about sitting until like the first week in November, like Halloween, probably.
Halloween. Yeah, it's always that last week in October and first week in November is where yeah, you dump all of it, all your
But
eggs in
yeah,
that basket. But
it's like if you do it before opening day of gun, you're gonna get all those people mad, peed off
yeah,
that
yeah. Which they
that
do have
you
they have that quiet season or whatever there at the end where you can't shoot guns and all that, which
yeah
everybody's out
yeah
sighting. Everybody's sighting their
how,
guns.
how many people
But
follow that?
yeah, yeah, about none. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's in there. But no, I just throwing it out there. If you change it, if you did it the week before bow season, or if you did it
I mean,
September
it's it's
1st,
it's
and
it's
then
2
give them a
days.
longer
You know
time.
what I'm saying?
So
I mean,
yeah,
you do it in September, you got a
right.
whole month until opening day of bow.
Yeah, I mean, a couple weeks, but yeah.
It's September 9th and 10th. I mean,
So
I don't know. It's just you're not just like anything, man. You're not gonna make everybody happy.
nope,
Um, you could do it one way or the other. You're gonna have people mad. That's just the way it is. That's today's society.
right,
You're never gonna keep everybody on the same page.
right. But
You're gonna get the guys who
just
say that they're taking all their trophies and these kids don't deserve it. Like we talked about before, these people.
that's
I gotta hear everybody's. I used to walk to school uphill both ways.
yeah,
and all like these
yeah.
kids should have to do the same thing I did. I didn't get these youth. I didn't get tough
Hmm.
cookies, man. Like, I mean, seriously, you're getting mad at little Bill, little Susie over here because she shot your buck and she's happy as like. Would it make me
Yep.
mad if it's
It-
for a fact that a dad shot a deer? Yeah, it would. Okay, right there, that would tee me off if I knew that I had a monster buck and this guy went out with this 4-year-old kid and it was evident that the dad shot the deer. I mean,
right.
like look at any picture and I can probably pick out whether or not that kid shot that deer. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, I'd be a little
Yeah.
teed.
We could tell that. Yeah,
I'd
for
be a little
sure.
teed off. But if like I said, if the kid is truly is doing it and they're happy, then who are you? Who because you put in your 40 years of deer hunting, you know, don't
Right.
don't be hating on the future generations. I mean,
Right.
you're going to be
That.
gone someday and they're going to be what holds this state up as far as the conservation, I mean, so encourage them. Say, "Hey, good congratulations," I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
not
So
act
I
like
mean,
an old bully like,
grudge.
"Get in line, kid. I've
Yeah.
been hunting for 40 years."
Yep. So, like I said, my son will be able to start hunting this year too. So,
I hope they switch it
the
back,
youth
man.
season.
I
So,
really do.
yeah.
Because
And
I don't want your I mean, here's the thing. Do you plan
uh,
on taking your son out if it is only doe?
yeah, I'll still take him
Okay.
out. He's still got. My thing is, they still have to understand hunting,
Yeah, I
the
do. I believe
aspect.
that. Yeah.
Okay, they still have to understand the aspect of hunting.
Yeah.
Your gut. The biggest thing I'm going to see is that killing the animal type thing. That's
Yeah, that's a
usually a
lot to
huge
take on,
step.
man.
Well, so my wife grew up in the city, didn't hunt, didn't do anything like that. I took her out. We bought a crossbow, practiced crossbow, did awesome. She could shoot with the best of them. We went out. We had a year and a half old six come out, 20 yards. She drilled it. I mean, perfect shot. The thing ran off and then it bedded down. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better, like, good. But walked up to the deer, see it lying there. The emotion really starts kicking in. It was, and I can't speak on behalf of her. It's what I seen from her is she was excited she got the deer, but she also was super emotional about I just took this living thing and
Yeah.
now I have to do something with it.
Yeah.
And but just that right there of
And she's a
talking to
grown
him
woman
of,
dealing with that,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you got to go, okay, but this is part of
Yep.
hunting. This is part of it. I mean, you get to see all the glory stuff, but I mean, I've seen it and you've seen it. Uh, I should say, I know a person, I'm not going to name them. They spined a deer once.
Yeah. I've
And
done that a couple times.
but that looks horrible, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
Right?
I remember the first time it
And
happened to me. Um, I was might have been my first buck, and no, it wasn't my first
well,
buck, but
okay.
Um, anyways, I walked up to it and it was just looking at us, making horrible noises, you know. Uh, and you just feel horrible about the whole thing. It's just you want to almost quit hunting. I mean, because here you are, you're 13, 14-year-old
Yeah.
kid, and this deer is, whatever in front of you, and it's a
Yeah.
lot to take on, man. And so
Yeah.
I I do think you have to be careful
Full.
on. It's not so much. I think a lot of the focus is put on my kid can shoot a deer, or yeah, he can shoot his gun, like you said. Yeah,
Yeah,
they can shoot targets all day long, but
right.
can they really grasp what they're doing?
They're
Do
doing.
they really
Yes.
understand
It's
that?
that yeah, that's
Yeah,
my point. Yeah, can they understand you're gonna take something's life and now you have to live with that. And then going along with that then too, those guys that bully people for what they shoot. I can't stand that crap. That's a BS thing where they're like, "Oh, you shot this little 4 point when you're 40 years old." Who cares? He shot it. That was his decision to shoot that deer, and now that is his basically not his responsibility, but that was his choice to take that deer. Now, you're
like
14
you
years
talked
old.
about in last episode, taking ownership of
Yeah.
something that's not
Oh,
yours.
yeah, well, I mean, you just did this, so it's and those kids have to understand that. So I'll go on a little bit of rain here, but kids like where I work now, I see a huge imbalance of maturity levels of people. So to say that me as 13 versus a 13-year-old now are totally different in the maturity level. So,
Yeah,
like, we were like, here you go. You're going to have to gut this thing and we got to hang it up and you're
mhm.
going to have to skin it and then we're going to quarter it out and so on and so forth. To me, it was like, okay, I did this. I got to learn how to do this. You do that to my 9-year-old right now, that's going to be a lot. Like,
Yeah.
here, we're gonna rip its guts out because we have to do it, and now we're gonna skin this thing. It's that whole mindset to get them past that and see, "Hey, we're doing this because, this is respect out of the animal that you just taken.
Should you be worried?
Let's."
Should you be worried if your kid is
Yeah,
too comfortable with it at a young
yeah,
at a young age?
maybe a little bit at 9 if you're yeah, have to take you got to cape the buck out and everything like that, and then you sawzalling the head off and all that. So, but yeah, that might be a little concerning. But at least get them that emotional aspect of hunting and the good side of the emotion too. Hey, you accomplished something that a lot of people haven't done ever. So is to take a deer, and then if they take a buck, wow, you did something most people haven't done in
Yeah,
this,
how many parents do you think that before they go on a youth hunt, um, really sit down and talk to their kids about like, hey man, this is what's actually going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I
don't
think you
know.
almost need to prepare them a little bit for the whole situation, and
But
not
not
make
the
it seem
kid.
like it's this fantasy thing. Like you shoot it, it's such a great. I mean, there's always bad things that can happen when you're hunting, as far
Ri
as bad
Well, look,
shots and
just like we were talking, yeah, bad shot. So you hit the deer and watch it run off, and it's got a wounded leg, and you can't find it. You
yep,
bring a tracking dog out, so on and so forth.
yep,
So, and it's not like, well, we tried, and then the deer's just gonna have to live with that. It's like, no, you need to make a better shot next time. Like talking them through that. But
yep,
but in the and going back to the emotional thing, but it's like the long hours of sitting there in a tree, the
yep.
long hours of we need to go scout, and you know it's more about the spending of quality time out there and seeing everything out in the wild too. So
And
like
it and
like
we're also back to like these people talk about back in their day kind of comments is
yeah,
you grew up in a time frame of, well, even our time frame, we didn't have when
yeah,
we didn't have phones up in the trees with us. There was no phone.
no,
Cell
no,
phones didn't come. I
nope,
didn't have my first cell phone until like
nope.
2002 in college, I think. And
Yeah,
and so we didn't have all that technology. We had more patience, I really believe. Just, I mean,
a
you
little
could
bit, yeah,
sit somewhere for hours.
yeah.
Kids now are in a world of instant gratification. Everything's
That well,
at their
yeah, that too.
fingertips. I mean, they
Yep.
got YouTube Shorts that are you don't have to watch a full video. You can watch 30 seconds at a time. So
Okay,
now you're asking the same kid to go out there and sit for 2 weeks and not see a deer or see 3 deer, and it's hard to
and make
retain
the
them.
and
Yeah,
make the right decision to shoot this type of deer or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I agree with that.
So I
So
mean, it's hard for these older people to sit there and say, "Well, I didn't have it." Well, you're not. It's not the
you-
same generation, man.
yeah, that's yes. It's we're talking two different generations. So I we have to find a way to re-engage them to this new style of youth and everything. So I mean, to I have no idea how to do that, but like I said, like I'll use like turkey hunting for instance tonight. My kid mentioned he goes, "Well, I didn't know there was this many types of squirrels out there because we've seen the
Yeah.
black squirrel and a gray squirrel and a fox squirrel." I'm like, "Yeah, man, there's like see, I knew that." I'm like, "Well, there's several different types of squirrels we have." But he's like just amazed that there was, all these different color squirrels running around the tree. I'm like, we're turkey hunting, but it's those things like that that you see and you learn and you understand, all that we need to get those kids out there to, mentor them to teach them those things. So,
I mean, and that's the thing, man. It's like how much you learn. I learned so much from friends in my later years of hunting than I learned in the beginning.
right.
People in my 20s, I learned more from those people than I ever learned when I was young because I didn't grow up in a household full of hunters. I didn't, my
Yeah.
dad, my mom, my brothers don't hunt. So I was self-taught until I finally got around people that know what they're talking about, and that's how
Hmm.
I learned at a later time in life. And I only got better as the years went on.
Right. Yep.
So some people don't have that mentorship like you give your son and or I give my daughters as far as at a young age.
Right, right. And it's unfortunate, and it's nice to see other people invite others that don't have that opportunity out to hunt. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
I
really think there needs to be more stuff for like that kind of stuff. There needs to be more mentorship in
right.
the state to
Hmm.
grab those kids that maybe don't have parents that hunt but still want to go out and hunt. And it's
Right.
I wish we could find a way to do that more, but it's a tough avenue to get into as far as
Yeah.
how you go about doing that.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. It'd be better for those types of programs too to at least get kids back out doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
But Tony,
yeah.
that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Like I said, hopefully by the fall, this House proposal that's going through to hopefully switch around
Hmm.
the antlered bucks back. Hopefully that goes through.
Yeah.
Like I said, we hope that they change the rules and at least do some modifications to it to kind of make it a
Right.
little bit more make sense.
Yep.
But it was good talking to you again, Tony.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely, man. It's
we
always
want
good. This is fun.
we want to
So,
thank everybody for tuning in. Beyond the Backyard, like I said, we're here for you guys. If you guys have a topic you want us to talk about, you can either send it to me on Facebook Messenger or you can send it to me at michiganoutdoorobsession@gmail.com and we will try to talk about it. If you have questions you want us to go over, food plot questions, turkey
mhm.
questions, whatever it may be, just send it to us. But until
Yeah.
next time, from Tony and myself, have a great weekend and we'll talk to you soon.